In this video, I'm going to explain how to grow a VoIP company to $1 million in 12 months. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. Why am I qualified, or how the hell is that possible, if it's possible? Or maybe I'm undershooting it, and a lot of you guys have already done this. If you don't know me, my name is Spencer. I run a company called Loop that we sell white label CRM integration, and I do not sell VoIP. With that being said, I used to be on the enterprise sales team at Vonage, and we were doing these numbers. I think it's important to start off by breaking down exactly what we're looking at here. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink my face down to this corner. There we go. Sorry that I'm looking over here. I'll look back at the camera. All right, I think it's important to understand this and maybe make it realistic for everyone who's watching this. And that's just breaking down the financials. So you're looking at a good old Excel spreadsheet here. First things first, $1 million. $1 million in annual recurring revenue is probably worth 3 to 5 in the VoIP space, maybe more, depending on the roll-up strategy. So if you hit $1 million in revenue, you probably have $3 to $5 million in revenue, or in terms of an actual asset if you decided to liquidate it. So million's a great number, life-changing number in the sense that if you sold for 5, you just put $5 million in your pocket. I'm not, depending on your situation, that could be great. So breaking down $1 million, it's $83,000 a month. It's important to understand that ARR is annual recurring revenue. So whatever you're doing this month is basically times that by 12, and that's your ARR, or your run rate is what it's typically known. So to hit $1 million in revenue, you actually don't have to hit the million on the book, because if you're doing the million in the books, that means you're probably doing 12 million in ARR, and congrats to you. Please send me an email so I can give you a high five and send you some swag or something. I don't know. If you're doing $1 million a month right now, I'm a big fan and would love to meet you. Moving on from that. So to understand this, I know you guys have probably already looked at this. That basically means to hit $1 million in ARR, you only need to add basically $7,000 a month. So $6,944. So if you did $6,000 in January and you added another $6,000 in February, you're doing $13,000. You added another $6,000 and so on and so on. So when you finally get to that 12 month, you're doing $83,000 a month. If you do nothing for the next 12 months and you hold on to your customers and reduce churn, let's say you have a 0 churn, which is impossible to some extent, you'll do $1 million. Now, if you're signing long-term contracts, I'm even a bigger fan of you. Typically 3 years is what we did at Vonage, because you're doing, the contract value is way more than 12 months. It's 36 months, and that's huge. You've got a huge business on your hands. Definitely sign at least minimum 1-year contract. So looking at this, you basically need to add $6,944 a month at a seat price of $25 a seat. That ends up being, you need to add 278 seats a month. Our quota at Vonage was basically that number, which, looking back, I realized I was making $50,000 a year as a base salary and putting $1 million on the books. Touche to Vonage. Can't believe I didn't run these numbers while I was there. Moving forward, I also went and looked up the average business size in the United States. Here's a little screenshot of that, and it's basically 10. I understand that that's probably a high number in my opinion. I think it's Vonage, the average seat size was 5. For just if you peppered it across everything, 3 to 5 or something. It's really low. Same with Ring. Anyways, that basically means you need to add 28 deals a month to every month to make $1 million, or 278 seats. There's a couple ways to look at this. That's 300 seat deals. I know those are harder to come by. So let me break down how I do this. You probably, if you're watching this, work on referrals, which is the best business. The problem is it's 100% unpredictable. Okay. If you work in the channel, we can straight up just delete this spreadsheet because you're paying 20% commissions. You're taking people to lunch. You're bribing them. That's what the channel is, to bring you deals. And as soon as somebody, and this is, by the way, before spiffs. And as soon as Ring or Vonage calls them and says they'll give them a 5x spiff up front plus, 20% annually or even monthly, you're going to get smoked. So not a fan of the channel in terms of a scalable business model. But, you only pay for what you get. So keep working the channel if you got the channel. So this twist is going to be on how can I either take a direct sales team, which, by the way, still costs money, or take a marketing campaign and get it to $1 million in 12 months. This might end up being a 2-part series because I realize I've already been talking for a little bit. But first things first. And I want to preface this with, this is going to be somewhat biased because I do sell CRM integration. So here's first things first. If we have to close 278 seats a month to hit this number, then what I'm going to do is go after bigger deals. And the reason I'm going to go after bigger deals is, one, it'll make it easier. So if I do have a bigger deal volume going, it'll be easier to hit that number. But two, if you have a good value add to those bigger deals, it's somewhat of an easier sell. And so what I mean by that is, again, I'm going to focus on CRM integration because I want you to sign up for Loop. But Loop doesn't work unless you're successful. So that's why I'm here. So I'm going to go after Salesforce customers. So I have 12 months to basically close, I'm going to call it 275 seats a month for the next 12 months. I can't probably do that alone without some help, so I'm going to go into a marketing campaign and a direct outreach campaign. So first things first, follow along with me here. I need a list of my perfect customers. My question to you would be, if you knew exactly who your customer was and had their email, would you be able to hit this number? And I think the answer is yes. I could be wrong. I don't have $1 million business, and it might sound ridiculous. If you cut that number in half, I definitely think it's attainable. Even a quarter would be great. So first things first, I'm going to swing over to my favorite website on the internet, hands down, because I'm a sales guy, and that's Built With. Built With, if you don't know, looks up the code on every single website, and it finds out what tools that website's using. So when I inspect Built With, I mean, look at this is they're like hiding their own code, which is interesting. Oh, here we go. So if you swing over here, just looking at Built With, for example, they're using Cloudflare and Google Analytics, and that's it. Built With's also my favorite company because it's run by one person, and they do like 14 million in revenue a year. That guy is banking. So the way Built With works is it's like Google search for source code. You can find anything. So if you want to find companies using Salesforce.com, you can type in, oops, what did I do that wrong? Oh, that was, so a couple of things. I typed in Salesforce.com, and what Built With did is showed us everybody or what tools Salesforce is running on their website. So check this out. So Salesforce usage and statistics. Here are companies that Built With knows is using Salesforce on their website right now, and is broken down by country. And you can see as it goes up right here. And how this works is somebody puts Salesforce code on their website to do lead gen, lead capture. Same thing that we're talking about right now. And then when Built With comes by their website and sees Salesforce source code on their website, they know they use source code and they save it. And you can legitimately download this list of all the companies in the US that are running Salesforce. You can also do this for Pipedrive. You can do this for Hotjar. You can do this for Zoho. You can do this for literally any application. Now, some of these numbers are low, and that's because Zoho and some of these tools like Zendesk have Zendesk Chat, and that's a secondary tool. So let's see if we can Send us Dropbox, chat robot. So you can see all of these different things that it can find. You can also inspect your own website. So if I come in here and do loopdb.com, you can see that we're using Clearbit, Google Tag, LinkedIn for retargeting, Screenly for screen capture, Wix. It is hosted on Wix. Median. This is another website I own. You should definitely check it out. I'm actually interested to see our downloads. It's definitely more than that, but that's a good starting spot. PayPal. So you can see literally everything that every website is using on the internet. It's amazing. And on top of that, they built a little tool where you can install a Chrome extension and look up anybody. So if I type in VoIP provider near me, you should rank in Google. That's a whole nother thing. But let's see. VoIP provider near me. Spectrum VoIP. This is a Loop customer. We'll go ahead and click this one. Let's see what tools they're running. Oh. Lookups on this domain are not allowed. I've never seen that before. Huh. So what we're going to do is going to pop over here and grab Spectrum VoIP. Sorry, Spectrum, if you're watching this. Wow. So they asked to be removed, I'm guessing. Well, that was a bad example. I apologize for that. All right, going down here, we're going to grab a lead list. I know Pardot is owned by Salesforce. You can see Pardot on here. This is going to be all your Salesforce customers. We can click the total live, and here's a sample list of the domains that we can email. These are all companies using Salesforce. I can download this list and then sort it by location. So for just US, and since I'm in Dallas right now, I'll sort it by Dallas, and I'll find the closest deals within 50 miles of me that are using Salesforce, and I'm going to craft a message. So using this list, you now have to get their emails, right? So I want to email everyone in DFW who's using Salesforce. We're going to pop over here. We're going to go to apollo.io. This is my favorite tool. There's a handful of them. I'm going to log in, and then I can come in here. I can say companies. You can even do this inside of Apollo. We're going to type in Salesforce. And now look at this. Apollo has a list of 70,000 companies who are using Salesforce. Now I can say, since I want to do deals that are bigger, we're going to select these guys, right? Everyone would love a 2,000 seat deal. And then we're going to say location. Let's do zip radius 98, which is where I'm at, within 50 miles. Boom. Let's hit enter on that. Alrighty. Here is 371 companies that are using Salesforce within 50 miles of me right now. Perfect. Now on top of that, I can select all of these. Boom. Well, again, this is kind of an annoying part of this. You can select 25 at a time, and you can export them. Now, I don't want to export all of them, right? Because if I click one of these, like this Linux Academy here, and click their people, I don't need all 45 people who work there. What I really need is like the CTO or, some sort of engineer, or even AWS Chief Officer, John Fallon. Here he is. Let's take a look at his LinkedIn. Linux Academy. Oh, look at that. They've even got more employees. We're going to pop in here. Sales development. Cloud guru. And here's what I would do. I would grab a list of these customers or employees, which you can export manually. And if you notice, I downloaded the Apollo extension, which is up here. I can manually select them, or I can select a few of them. In this example, let's say we want to search it by maybe CTO. Show me CTO. No CTO. Maybe let's just look for the chief. There's no chief. All right, maybe that wasn't a bad example of a company. Probably not, though. Oh, shoot. Let's try that again. We're going to go forward. So I clicked the academy. What I needed to click was this guy's profile, which is right here. Yeah, there we go. So John, Chief Officer at the Lennox Academy. Check this out. This is the Apollo extension. I can click View Email Address. There we go. A cloud.guru. It's a solid email. And God, I don't want him in here. So cancel him. We're not going to save him to a lead list. So now we got John. We can get his email in here. And then you can build a list in Apollo of everyone you need or know who is using Salesforce. Now, why is that important? 2 reasons. First things first. Once you build that list, again, it's not going to just automatically happen. It's going to take a little bit of time. But realistically, you could come back to this page of these 370 and export all of those companies. Or what you can also do in Apollo, we want to deselect all. Let me see if I can show you this. Clear selection. Oh, here's what happens. You save these to a list. Oh, how can I show you this? And then you can take that list and then import all of the people into that list. So all of these people, and then filter by employees with the title. So inside of this, you can definitely figure it out inside of Apollo. I'm not going to break that down for you right this second. I've kind of gotten this far already. You know what? Screw it. Let's do it. I'm going to click this. We're going to click just the top 25 here. We're going to add it to a list. Test. Lead list for loop. Boom. All right. So now we're going to come over here to lists, and we're going to, boom, test lead list for loop. Here we go. And then we're going to look for the people. List. Select the list. Where's my list at? Oh. How the heck? There's a way to do it. Believe me. Lists. Okay, those are people lists. We need company lists. Lists. Test lead list for loop. There's a button somewhere in here where you can literally click this. It says, where was it? There's a way where you can find the people. Oh, find people. Oh, find people for, okay, these 25. Boom. All right, now we're in people. Here is the list of all the people who work at those companies. Some of them were huge. So this is a list of 28,000 people. That's too many. So now what we're going to do is pop in here on this filter side, job title. We want, owner, founder, C-suite, VP, head. You want the big guys, right? And here's the title. We're going to type in. And then, all right, that's a small list. But here are the CTOs, only 35 of all these companies within 50 miles of me, right? Some of these are whales. You might not land all these. You could filter the size down if you wanted to. But, I mean, if you land one of these, you got a couple of months locked up, right? So if we filter by this, let's show me the short ones. Here we go. So I might start here, this Optum. And if I click this, you got this guy's email. You can export it. There's the CTO of Optum. Got some mutual friends. He's been at a couple other companies. You can email him. All right. So you're going to export a list of, let's say, a couple thousand people. You'd probably want to maybe back off the CTO a little bit and go to some lower level, maybe managers and stuff like that. But once you've got that fired up and you have this list, I want you to do one of 2 things. First thing, I use a tool called Lemlist, and this is great. So Lemlist is an email marketing platform. And one of the things that it does is it connects to either your Exchange server or your G Suite to auto send messages on your behalf. Now you craft those messages, and it needs to be super specific. But with the right, kind of context here, it's somewhat easy. So I have another software company that I own, that I'm sending anywhere from 25 to 100 emails a month to people who use live chat. Do it, and I did the exact strategy that I just showed you guys, and it is going great. So Lemlist also can send LinkedIn invites. This is all automation, right? So like, I'm really focused on your time, because what I want you to do is hit that million without hiring anyone. And a lot of this stuff can be done automatically. So here's a sequence that I'm using for my other company right now, Median. We've sent 102 emails, 40% or 39, 40% open, 8% clicked. I call this 8% replied, and here's why. So in this sequence that I set up with Lemlist, it will send a LinkedIn message or a LinkedIn invite. Once that LinkedIn invite is sent, the next day, so one day later, it will send an email. And of course, it doesn't feel like a cold email because I sent them a LinkedIn invite 24 hours ago. And then step 3 right now is send up on 2 days after that, send them a LinkedIn message if I don't hear back from the email, which obviously, it looks like we sent, how many of these? Where does it say? 0? Oh, we sent 23 LinkedIn messages. So let's dig into this a little bit. If we come into the analytics, this is message I sent, went to, what was that? A couple hundred people. 25 opened this one, 30%. I A/B tested the email so I could see which one worked better. Clearly A worked. And then here's what I did that was really interesting. I think it was interesting. I'll let you decide. My email said, here's my A/B test. Hey, first name, would it save your team a ton of time if you could see your customer's screen while providing support? You and I both know that even if we're mildly interested, we're not going to respond to any email, right? And so it's important to keep the first email short. I would just test this. There is no right answer. It would save your team a ton of time if you could see your customer's screen while providing support. Here's what I did that is interesting here that I hadn't seen before. I created what I'm calling an interactive email. So they can click yes or no. They don't have to respond to the email. But by clicking those links, they get redirected to the site. Why is that important? When they click yes or no, I have Facebook ads turned on and Instagram ads and LinkedIn ads and Google ads on the site with pixels on it. So if they click yes, they get one sort of ads. If they click no, they get a different set of ads. And either way, whether they click yes or no, they go to the site. Now, I put one more thing in here. P.S. This was not a mass email. I saw you use live chat. We're a partner on your site. Looked you up on LinkedIn and use Apollo to snag your email, right? Still feels a little spammy, but we did get like a 9 or 10% reply rate. So, it kind of worked out on that front. Okay, so if they click yes, what happens? Well, let's click yes. We're going to click this. It's a link. Open the link. Oh, look at that. So Median sells support tool, a support software. Reduce your support time by 50% or more. YouTube video that basically says, click the Calendly link below to book a demo. So what I would do if I was you, and maybe I just need to do this to prove that it works, is sending an email to a Salesforce CTO being like, hey, Bruce, I notice you guys are heavy Salesforce customers. Are you leaving money on the table by not connecting your phone system to Salesforce, right? Or something to that extent. Like, did you know that you could connect your phone system to Salesforce? Or is your phone system, I'd A/B test it and then figure out which one works best, fire off a bunch of those emails, and then if they click yes or no or whatever, you can send them to this link where they can book a demo with you. You notice how this page is completely stripped? There's nothing else that they can do on this but literally book a demo. There's like maybe 2 action items. The play button in this video or book a demo. I don't want them to do anything else. I don't want them to scroll through the site, start investigating. I want to meet them. If I don't meet them, then we're screwed anyways, right? So I'm running those and then if they hit this page and they do nothing, I'm still pumped because now they've notified me for a follow-up email by clicking the link that they clicked yes. 2, I'm pumped because if they book a demo, hell yeah. 3, I'm pumped because now that they hit the site, if they take no action, I can still retarget them, right? I can retarget them because they've been to the website, and there's a pretty good chance I can retarget them because they watched the YouTube video. You can actually retarget people who watch your YouTube videos. So basically, any action they take from that email pulls them into a funnel that is completely automated with follow-up, okay? We're going to go back to Lemlist. Here's another funny example that I think you guys will like. Maybe, maybe not. If they click no, it again goes to the website. It immediately starts rickrolling people. So at this point, I'm just having fun with them. If you click no, it says, I'm never going to give you up. And then it says, dang, sorry you weren't interested. Hopefully we can at least make you smile. And then I dropped all of our links in here so they can do some investigatory work. Here's something I want to tell you. Every single person who clicked no on that email ended up going back and clicking yes, because at this point they want to know. So I can't speak to the logic on why that happened, but that's how it went down. So now inside of Lemlist, if I come into reporting, I can click in here. I can say, show me everyone who clicked, and then I can follow up with them, right? So here's everyone. Look at how many times this guy clicked. And on top of that, Lemlist is linked to their LinkedIn profile because you're sending that welcome letter or that invite, which therefore grows your audience. And you can always come back, find them on LinkedIn, and message them and say, hey, IT leader, follow up with them. Okay. So that's part 1 of this. I understand that might have been intimidating. I do not mean to intimidate you, but I think this is very doable. You can always scale the ads up. One of the things I want you not to worry about is something called you landing in spam. Lemlist has a tool called Lemwarm, and this is genius on their part. They send emails on your behalf to other Lemlist customers, and then what they'll do is they'll take your emails on automation and take them out of spam. So what ends up happening is by automation, I've sent a total of 891 emails, and 13 of them were saved from spam. So different people have different spam filters, different, third-party services to reject spam, looking for stuff like that. Lemlist will automatically email other Lemlist customers. The other Lemlist customers will look for that email who are also using Lemlist and move those emails into the inbox out of spam if they do land in spam. Now, in this case, only 13 of mine landed in spam. That's a pretty good ratio. I'm doing good, right? And this happens in automation, which basically shows Google or any service provider that I'm not a spammer. These are opened, read, responded to, real emails, even though they're pretty funny if you go in and read them. That says like the purple giraffe jumped over the yellow fence and stuff. It's really weird, but it's a great idea. All right. Lastly, I want to talk to you about ads. So in this list, now that you have this list from Apollo, what I want you to do is record an advertisement to run on, if you're willing to pay, run on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I want it to be a video ad. It can be just like me sitting right here, and what it's going to say is, if you're using Salesforce, let me try and think of the ad on the fly. If you're using Salesforce and your phone system is not connected, you're leaving money on the table. For more information, and what I mean by that is you probably have your Gmail account and your emails attached to Salesforce. You probably have your lead generation tool using Pardot or whatever on your website. So Salesforce on your website, all of your data, your financial data from the deal sizes, the opportunities, the leads, the accounts, the contacts, all of that is being tracked. You're literally tracking everything except for your phone activity. Why is that? Why are you leaving money on the table? If I told you 1,000 calls this month netted you X dollars here and 100 calls this month was a third of that revenue, then you would be able to associate a dollar value to every inbound call that you've got. Stop leaving money on the table. For more information on that, we have built a how to stop leaving money on the table Salesforce guide at the link below. Click the link. We'll shoot you over the PDF on how to connect Salesforce to your phone system. Okay, that would be the ad. Now, what's great about that ad can just be a Word file that you put on your website in the form of a PDF, and it's called gated content. What that means is they put their email in to get that PDF, and there you go. That's an interested person. You can retarget them with ads because once they're on your website, right, you're running those retargeting ads. And on top of that, now you have their email, which is a red flag saying, hey, I'm interested to learn more. And you call that person. Now you might be thinking, well, how much do I spend in ads? That's up to you. What you got to figure out is your cost per click or your cost to acquire a customer. I forget what they call that. CPM, CP. Anyways, the reason that you need to be running ads as a VoIP company is your customers are infinitely paying you back. So a typical person who sells books like this, what's going to happen is this book is worth, I don't know, $10. That means they can't spend $10 to acquire me as a customer. They can spend like $3, and even then probably all their profit margin is gone. But you are a VoIP provider. So at $25 a seat times 10 seats, that's $250. You can literally spend $200 or $500 to acquire a customer, and that third month it's paid back in full, right? If you can, you can spend thousands of dollars on paid advertising and be terrible at it and still wax your competition because your cost per acquisition, what they call your lifetime value of your customer is insane, right? So you got to be running ads. You got to be spending money. You got to be losing money. If you're not losing money, you're not learning. And here's how you do it. Don't ask them to sign up for a demo like I did in the email. Ask them to download a PDF on how to install or how to connect Salesforce to their phone system. They don't need to know that their phone system doesn't work with Salesforce. They don't need to know that they have to switch phone systems. They don't need to know about the porting and the DID configuring and the routing and all that. They don't need to know that. Don't intimidate them through the gate. Get the email, follow up with them, work the deal from there. I'm trying to get you at bats here, not, get the customer out the door before they get in the door. So since you're targeting CRM integration people, and since you have all this automation running in the past, or moving forward, what I want you to focus on is closing deals. And so what I mean by that is you've got 25 to 100 emails going out a day on automation to your perfect audience. Any of those goofballs who click any sort of anything are getting retargeted on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. It's up to you. And getting hit with all of that. And then on top of that, you're also running ads. You can literally take phone calls, and try and close deals. Now, it's definitely not that simple. There's a lot of work that goes into this. There's a lot of tweaking to make it work. But you need to create this flywheel. Right now, I'm assuming if you're probably watching this, you might not have any sort of marketing flywheel. And so you just got to get the ball rolling. I don't mean to intimidate you, but you close a couple of these deals, and you can start to realistically believe in these numbers, right? The 278 seats a month, that seems high to me, even as a guy who sold VoIP at the enterprise side. But what we would do is we would sell a $20,000 deal here, a $20,000 deal here. We'd sell like 4 of those a year, and we'd be done on the enterprise side. On the small SMB side, you were moving smaller seat deals. That's why I put this 10 in here. If you can close 28 10-seat deals a month, you're off to the races. I know that sounds crazy. You're going to have some high, some low. This number might not be totally attainable, but I mean, if you hit like 500,000, like that's a big win. I think the point here is if you can get that flywheel rolling, I mean, it's gonna hockey stick, but you got to get started. I'm not telling you to give up on the channel, but please, for God, give up on the channel. And on top of that, you know, that would be my strategy. And the reason I'm telling you this is what I'm doing right now to grow my other company, and it's working great. So if you have any questions, fire me an email, spencer@hellomedian.com. I do not sell marketing services, but I'd love to help you in any way I can. I hope this video was helpful. It seems like it's extremely long, 36 minutes. Thanks for hanging in there. And have a good day. Oh, and buy Loop. If you're selling CRM integration, you got to have the connection. All right, thanks.